The hype train for the Nintendo Switch 2 has pretty much been in full swing for the last couple of days, ever since the Pokemon Presents happened and we've heard rumors about Nintendo getting ready for their next generation system. It's kind of started up again, and even just in general, the Nintendo Switch's 6th birthday was just a couple days ago in March, and we're definitely kind of entering the Nintendo Switch's twilight years with kind of the last couple of years left on the system, as it's pretty likely that we are going to be moving towards the next system very soon. Now, in terms of when Nintendo decides to release their next-gen system, no one really knows for sure. If you want my prediction, I think that it's probably going to come out sometime early 2024, like around March or April, but you've got people who think that it could come out even later than that, maybe like holiday next year around November or December, or even in like 2025, and then you've got some people who think that it could even come out like later this year, where it could be like a holiday system that comes out in November of 2023. But regardless of when it comes out, there's been a lot of discussions happening for the last couple of days and weeks over this next Nintendo system, and it seems like even Nintendo has been taking some actions behind the scenes, as we've got some information here that is very interesting, where it seems like Nintendo is going after insiders and potential leakers and starting to silence them by banning them from talking about more information. And it's very kind of interesting that all of this is starting to happen now. I'm sure you guys have heard all the memes about the Nintendo ninjas and all of that, but it really does look like Nintendo's legal team is starting to take some action right now, which is very kind of interesting that all of this is happening right around the time that we're starting to get a lot of kind of potential rumors and stuff happening about the next Nintendo system. So all of this was happening on a Chinese forum where they always speak in Chinese, but they have a lot of information that they've kind of always been surfacing over on this forum, and it looks like this kind of comes from a place where they assemble Nintendo Switches or maybe test devices and other types of information, and on there's kind of been like two reputable people who have always been giving us a lot of information, and it seems like Nintendo is kind of going after them and pretty much this whole thread and a lot of the stuff that's happening here. So I'm going to show you guys this image right here, which kind of breaks everything down. So this was a post that was on Reset Era, where it basically says here, this is about a leaker who is in works in the hardware production process and has correctly leaked the Nintendo Switch model info, such as the new stand on the Switch OLED, the Splatoon 3 Switch bundle, and even claimed at the time of leaking the Splatoon 3 bundle to know of a more powerful system from Nintendo that he speculated was going to be announced by the end of last year. So this is one leaker who's pretty much gotten stuff correct in the past, where they've talked about the Switch OLED having a better stand, they even leaked the special edition for the Splatoon 3 bundle that happened with the Switch OLED, and they were kind of theorizing that there was probably going to be a more powerful Switch that was going to be announced by the end of last year. Obviously that didn't happen, but now we have just the other day, this very same person was permabanned, and the forums thread with the info was deleted at the request of Nintendo. They are also no longer allowed to host any leaked information that he shared. It's just kind of weird timing, right? I believe that this signals that Nintendo is planning to start Switch 2 production in the next few months, and they are about to share details with hardware producers very soon, which is why they plugged up a huge potential leak source ahead of time. The last thing that he shared was that they were testing new components that were awaiting approval to start mass production. Again, the timing of how they even came down on the forum and the leaker here is what adds more smoke to the other Switch 2 rumors, and if anything says a lot about the Switch 2 releasing this year is still very much possible. Now, I don't know about that last part. I feel like they could definitely start making a whole bunch of Nintendo Switch 2s and just kind of have them produced and ready to go so that they are ready to release if they decide to do it like next year in 2024. So I don't think that signals that it's going to have a potential chance of coming out this year. Maybe it could, but I still think that 2023 is unlikely personally. But I do think that it still would mean that they would need to start production of the system, and that's why factories and a lot of these kind of internal components and all of that are going to be worked on. So it would make a lot of sense to kind of plug up a potential leak source if this person was going to get in touch with a lot of this type of stuff and be able to share details about it ahead of time. And after researching some more about this Chinese forum, it seems like there's actually two big sources and insiders that are a part of this thread, and the Chinese community themselves have kind of like dubbed these guys uncles. So you've got like the Foxconn uncle, who seems to be like the more reputable source that can actually give images and stuff too. This was actually the person who posted an image of the Nintendo Switch Lite's kind of shell, or like the back of it. And when this came out, nobody really believed it, but it did turn out to be the real deal, as this was an official color for the Nintendo Switch Lite when it did become available, but it was still leaked ahead of time before the official announcement. So this seems like a person who actually is working closely with Nintendo, maybe in like the factories and stuff, if they do have access to these shells that are used for the systems and all of that. So maybe they're like assembling the systems together, or they have like parts and stuff there. So it is kind of definitely a real leaker who does have information. So Nintendo going after them now and permabanning banning them, saying like you're not allowed to share any more information and talk about this, it is kind of very fishy that they're doing this now, because what if this person is going to get a hold of the Nintendo Switch 2 shells, or like they're going to get a hold of the next system really soon? It would make sense to kind of silence this person right now before they actually leak something. And then the other insider on this thread is the manufacturing uncle, who's also leaked a lot of stuff in the past, but this person also likes to do some speculation and theorizing for what the next components about the next system could be like and when that could be announced, and that stuff usually doesn't end up being true. But regardless, Nintendo did pretty much go after this entire thread on the Chinese forum and get it shut down. The major leakers and insiders have all been permabanned, and yeah, it's pretty much just gone now. Even if you go and ask like the moderators of that thread kind of what's happened, they're not saying anything. And I mean, I guess if you were a moderator for a thread like this, which had a lot of leaked information potentially and just a lot of stuff like this surfacing, and Nintendo came up to you and threatened a lot of legal action and stuff if you decided to talk more about it, I would probably be pretty scared too. So they definitely did the job of silencing all of the stuff that was happening here. So it is definitely really interesting how this forum and this thread have been up for years now, where they've leaked information about the Switch Lite and the Switch OLED, but now all of a sudden Nintendo decides to finally go after them, silence them, shut everything down, permaban the users. It definitely seems like Nintendo is planning something kind of big, and they really don't want that to get out there, so it makes a lot of sense to kind of plug up all of these potential leak sources. And we've been calling this next Nintendo system the Nintendo Switch 2 because that's pretty much what everyone thinks that the next system is going to be, where it's just going to be like a Nintendo Switch again, but with better performance, better hardware, better features. But it's also very possible that Nintendo could pull a Nintendo and do what they do best, which is do something completely out of left field, where the next system could be something completely different from the Switch, something completely brand new. And if that's the case, starting production of that in the factories and stuff and having that get out there would ruin such a big surprise, because everybody's expecting a Nintendo Switch 2. But imagine if it's not even called that and it's just going to be something completely different aside from the Switch. They definitely wouldn't want that to get out there, and probably want to have the reveal themselves in terms of like what their announcement video is going to be. So it would make a lot of sense to kind of definitely go after these potential leaks. But yeah, just some very interesting information all around. If you guys enjoyed the video, definitely be sure to click that like button and also subscribe to the channel as well. I'm going to be having some more Nintendo videos very soon, but also comment down below and let me know what you guys think about this. How do you guys feel about Nintendo going after these threads now and pretty much perma-banning any of these potential insiders? Do you think that it could mean that they're going to be starting production of a new system or something else like that behind the scenes very soon, and they don't want these sources to kind of get their hands on that? What do you guys think about everything? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. Go follow me on Twitter at Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros. And Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.